So let's talk about this fascination with celebrity, especially when it comes to celebrity deaths. When there's always been um, this fascination, this um, wanting to be or to know or to understand celebrities, and I mean, in the last 10 years, it's really changed with social media. Um, you had the age of the movie stars, which some people say, and it might actually be true, that, Tom Cruise, the last actual movie superstar, and then there's just, movie stars. Um, so you can go back to, I mean, probably the 40s, but more in the 50s when you started having the scandalizing magazines, the gossip magazines, I guess, is what you would call it, would do stories as far as, actors on reefer, possibly gay actors, who's hooking up with who, that sort of thing like that. But it was only for really, I mean, it was considered for like housewives and young, probably teen girls at that time. Most of America didn't really care. And it was also, during those time periods, I mean, the chances of actually seeing a celebrity in person were extremely low. I mean, I'd even say in the 90s it was extremely low. Um, the rise of magazines through really, I'd say the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s, again, celebrityism, it was still a thing, but it was like a time period in which you went through that fascination, and most of the time it was when you were like 10 years old till late teens, early 20s, and then you were out of that fascination with celebrities, and you kind of moved on with your life. Um, Now, was that everybody? No, of course not. You'd still have, a small segment or some, maybe out of five of your friends, you had one friend that was a complete fanatic about a celebrity. Most people grew out of that phase, the teen magazines, the watching the ET channel and everything like that. Um, with the onslaught of social media, it is interesting the accessibility that celebrities have now become. Now, if you actually believe that that is the actual celebrity on their social media, as far as Twitter, Instagram, or whatever, that they're actually responding to you or having a conversation with you or liking your post, I mean that's really probably up to you as the individual. Because yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of celebrities out there that say, yeah, 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 that was me. Um, I was the one. I always like my stuff. I always do my stuff. But then again, at the same time, why would they need to tell you the truth on that? I mean, they're trying to keep an appearance up. Um, I, for one, growing up at the time period I grew up in, mid and late 80s through the 90s, early 2000s, to see that change from this magazine television type thing where, again, the only time that you might actually ever see a celebrity was um, if, like, maybe there was a concert in your town or you happen to be visiting Los Angeles or New York or maybe even Miami. But the chances of actually being in your town were very slim. Like the biggest celebrity, and this will probably be a bigger celebrity than most here in town here was Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds used to come here all the time. It was because here in Tallahassee, Burt Reynolds went to Florida State. He was associated with the school and with the football team, and so he would come every few years. He would come down either if there was a big game, especially in the '90s when Florida State was just running college football. He was down here a lot, so the chances of running into him in town for those time periods that he was here was elevated a little more than what it might be. I mean, I knew people that ran into him a few different times through the '90s and early 2000s. Um, had a few stories about him. I never saw him, but um, that was the one celebrity that would come through our town here in Tallahassee. But besides that, the only time that we would have big name people coming through was if they were here for a charity event, or if they were in a band, or they were a singer and they were just putting on a concert. Would pass through, and then besides that, unless their plane broke down and had to stop at our airport, you didn't really have celebrities that were like, oh yeah, let's go hang out in Tallahassee, Florida. It just wasn't a thing. The fascination, it's like I knew who celebrities were. I had my favorite celebrities. I had ones, that you go through that time period where you're a kid and teenager that you like them, or you're not a big fan of them. You really like this one, you really don't like that one. You might have a crush on this one. Yeah, you might not quite understand that one. But as I got older, that phase left. And sure, yeah, there's like celebrities that I like to go see movies in. There's celebrities that, um, if you saw them in public, you would be like, all right, yeah, I might be a little fanboy with that, but not to the extent that it affects my life on a daily basis or changes the way I view uh, the world on a daily basis. Um, the rise of social media again and the access. Granted, I mean, you had celebrity fan groups back in the day, fan clubs or whatever. And some of them might actually know the fan clubs, know the individuals. And you'd have people that claim they knew the individual, this, that, and the other. And some of them did, others did not. I mean, others were on the borderline stockish. And it's always interesting for me when a celebrity passed. Like you just had two this past week with Ozzy Osbourne, and then like a day or two later, Hulk Hogan. To see fans come out. Now with Ozzy, I can kind of understand more. Um, just being associated with his music, people I more feel music than maybe an actor or a writer, or somebody who does cartoons or anything like that. Like music hits people differently than maybe a movie or an actor does. So I could see like some reaction to that, but I didn't see anything overly crazy with it. And then you had like the death of Hulk Hogan, which there was so much going around with his death regarding one, you had his professional life of the wrestlers through the WWF, then over to WCW with NWO, then over to WWE when they became that, finishing, then to TNA for a little bit, and then going back to WWE before he finished his career out. But then you also had in the last 10, 15 years just a lot of crazy stuff come out of him. Um, One of them being the racist remarks he made about not wanting his daughter to date a black dude, but he didn't use the word black dude. He used the slur. And there's that whole thing. You just had that, how it also becomes just a political battle too, where it's this, if you like him, then you're racist. If you don't like him, then you're too liberal. Just stupid stuff, especially on social media. But you saw just, it bothers me when I see people that go online and speak as if they know the person, or they can speak on or speak for the person, and say how this isn't actually what they are or who they are. And it's like, were you in their daily life? Were you on their phone that they would call or text? If it wasn't anything like that, you didn't know that person. You might have shook the dude's hand. You might have been in a building with them. You might have talked to him, but you didn't really know him. You only knew what he wanted you to see. That's what celebrities do. You only know what they want to see. That's the one thing with social media that kills me is there used to be where you would get a bit of the celebrity, and then but you didn't actually see what they were. You would get what was out there, and then they had their separate life. And now with social media, they're just everything is out there. Everything that you want to know, everything that you need to know, everything that you don't want to know, everything that you don't need to know is out there for you to learn about. And to see people that, and maybe it's just a mentality, and maybe I just don't have that mentality, which, you know, it's whatever. But to me, if you're so affected by the death of a celebrity, of somebody that you didn't know. Again, if you knew the person, if they affected your life, like they got involved with your life personally, helped you with something, I can understand that. But if you never knew the person, if you never actually, coexisted or had a conversation with the individual, I always found it weird that fanaticism of typing things, saying things like, "Oh, you won't know what you ever meant to me. This is going to change my life forever. I don't know how to get up the next morning. I'm just so depressed." It's like, why? Maybe I'm just very negative on that. Maybe that's just me, but I don't hold celebrities up on that level to where a death affects me to where I can't go through my day knowing that that person, especially somebody that I've never met. Yeah, you see him on TV, you see him in movies, you hear him on the radio. I get it, and I get with the oddity because maybe the music changed your life. I can understand that, but you can't let it affect you to where you go numb to the world and then get depressed that you don't want to do anything. You have to have a stronger mentality. Death is a part of life. So Jim Morrison famously said, "No one here gets out alive." Um, these two gentlemen lived pretty late in life, in their mid 70s, early 70s. Is pretty good. Um, it's not like they were in their 20s or 30s and got cropped off. I mean, they especially Ozzy. Ozzy lived a life. I mean, my man lived a life. I think the more tragic death out of this was Malcolm Jamal Warner drowning in the ocean, but the other two lived a life. But again, my mentality, I don't really get affected like that, and maybe that's a level of maturity, or maybe that's a part of me that died, that died, that whole having it affect me to where I just feel like I can't do anything with my life. I worry about the mentality and the psychologically, the now I can't say it, psychological side of people that get seriously upset when a celebrity dies. The coverage of it is so wild not to. Growing up, honestly, the only death that I remember that got crazy coverage was Princess Diana in '97, and it was because who she was and also how she died. I remember when Frank Sinatra died, I think about a year earlier. I think he died in '96, it could have been '95. There were people that were upset by it, but there wasn't this whole big thing about it. When Biggie died, when Tupac died, I remember that happening. But again, it almost seemed like it was just for like a day, and then just everybody moved on with their life. And that has to do with people weren't stuck in their phones, weren't typing online, weren't doing it. You got on with your life. There was more of a sense of, yeah, you're sad that that individual died. You process through your emotions, and then the next day it's a new day. You need to live your life. You're up and going. I worry about people that just sit on social media all day to where they live in this echo chamber, they live in this bubble and just depress themselves. Um, hey, the death might have affected you. I mean, that's respectful. I won't hold anything against you, but I don't need you 5, 6 days later still being depressed over somebody that you never met before in your life. Not wanting to move, not wanting to do things because you can't get over yourself. Um, to me, the less time you spend on your phone, the less time you spend online is probably 50, 60, 70% mentally healthier than sitting on that thing degrading your brain cells for the rest of your time period. I'm glad I grew up in the time period when I did. Again, Princess Diana, that thing was about a good week and a half because um, just the shock of the world. The way she died, who she was, and then the way they did the funeral, everything like that. Besides that, no other celebrity that I can think of or that I remember from the 80s and 90s really had that effect on society. Um, but it just seems like these days that whenever a celebrity dies, everybody just feels like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I can't believe it. And then, oh my God, this one. It's like they're already doing like a recap of the celebrities we lost in 2025. Why do we need those? People die every year. Celebrities have died every year since the beginning of celebrityism. I mean, if you want to break down year by year how many celebrities died, you wouldn't be able to keep up. Celebrities are going to die every year. They're humans. They're people. They have the same length in life that a majority of everybody else in this world does. You cannot be shocked if one day someone dies and another day another person dies, or a week after that another. That's just how it goes. I mean, you can only imagine there's probably been other famous people that have died in this last week that nobody either looked at or cared to speak on or just overlooked because of Ozzy and then of course Hulk Hogan, 2 days later. It is a weird kind of fascination with celebrityism and also with death. And I think that's what also brings the depression on a lot of these people that focus on this stuff, because you don't celebrate their life. You're celebrating their death and trying to get a piece of, oh, I can't believe, you won't believe how you changed my life and how you did this. Just going for likes and going for your retweets. To me, if like I dug Ozzy's music and love Black Sabbath. I had a few of their CDs growing up. To me, if you want to be respectful to that individual, play some music. Just blaze out to some music. Just kick back and just enjoy the music. I don't need to go on social media and, oh man, this is so crazy. This song makes me think about this. Da, 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 da. I'm trying to like cope somebody's death into your feeling. Don't get so into the death of a celebrity to where the depression affects you. You have got to be mentally and headstrong about it. Again, unless you were a friend, a family member, or somebody that just dealt with that individual, that was around that individual every day or every few days, you really shouldn't be out there saying how the person affected you, or how they made you feel, or how you won't be able to live without that individual. It just gets weird, man. You got to be mentally stronger. And again, maybe personally, maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe I'm an asshole for that thought. But I understand celebrityism. I respect it. It's whatever. You're getting paid. You did what you needed to do to get where you were. But I'm not going to bow down. I'm not going to, because somebody dies, stop my life, pause my life for a time period. I got things to do. I got places to go. I got things to handle. I got my own bills to pay. I got my own things to worry about. I can't sit there and let it affect. Yeah, it sucks. Ozzy goes. It sucks that Hogan goes. It sucks that the way that Malcolm Jamal Warner went. But celebrities are going to die. Phil Hartman was murdered by his wife when I was, I think, still in high school or just out of high school. We've had celebrities die in car wrecks. We've had JFK Jr. die in a plane. There are crazier ways that people can go out besides just natural causes. Um, we have to, I think, really, really get over this just way that we hold celebrities up on some level, which again, a lot of them we've torn down because of social media. I get that. But again, there's just this weird fascination. And if I was a celebrity, I would not be on social media. I've said this before. I would stay away from it. If I had an account, it might be for like an organization or for a charity or whatever, and I'd have somebody that would tweet out for me on that. But I would never deal with social media because one, I want to have that mysterious kind of effect on people. I want you to see me in the movies, might see me in an interview, but then you really don't know who I am. And I want that mystique. That's what I'm thinking of. I would want that mystique. I don't need you knowing everything about my life. I don't need you knowing my favorite color is, what my favorite food is, what I ate for dinner, what time I got up in the morning. Um, who do I listen to when I'm driving to this place? What was the first fart smell that I had when I was a kid? You guys don't need to know that stuff. Go watch my movie. Buy the movie when it comes out on Blu-ray, DVD, streaming, whatever. Buy my merchandise. Otherwise, you don't need to know where I live, what I do, what my turn-ons are, what my turn-offs are. It's not needed. Um, And I think that adds another aspect to the world we live in now is people get online thinking that, oh, well, they're just like me. Then me, when we would get along, they would like me. That doesn't mean it. I like things that you might like. You like things that I might like. We get together and then we find out we can't frickin' stand each other. We might have common interests, but then you might find out I'm a complete a-hole. Or we get together and I might find out that you're an annoying piece of crap. Let's stop. Let's stop doing this thing where we feel we need to put ourselves on the same level of celebrities. A lot of them are not great people. Hence, what happened with Hulk Hogan later in his life, when people found out he was more racist than anything. I almost wish that we could jump in a time machine and go back to where there was no social media, and because I think that would fix a lot of um, the mental aspects of life, of just the depressions, the way people view things, the way people hold things, the way people handle things. It is just a drag on society. Um, hey, I'm not saying don't like celebrities. I'm not saying, have somebody that you look up to or have an idol, but at the same time, let's not make it to where you're completely affected to where it'll knock you down for more than like 2 days. Well, I'll give you 2 days, a grace period of 2 days. Otherwise, you kind of got to start moving on with your life, and you need to really focus on yourself. The first thing that you need to worry about in your life is yourself and your family, and not a celebrity. Believe me, a celebrity will be fine. With or without you, they're going to be fine. And that's the kind of mentality that you need to have. With or without them, I'm going to be fine. Like and subscribe. Tell me how you feel. Other words, hey, find out good earth and dig it, and stay off social media as much as possible. Later.